Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Corruption of Cults and podcast. Today we are going to be reviewing The Road by Aaron Lewis. Debut album of Aaron Lewis, released November 13th, 2012, has 13 tracks. Let's get right into it. Now, the first track on this album is titled 75, but before we get into that, let's go over a little backstory here. Aaron Lewis was the frontman of the hard rock band Staind from the early to late 2000s before the group disbanded, and Aaron Lewis formed his own solo career of country music, which has been going on over the span of the last decade, where he has released, as of time of recording this, 4 solo albums. So, let's get into it. The 75 was an okay song, kind of forgettable. I kind of call it what I like to call lazy country. The songwriting felt lazy. There isn't really much to remember. The lyrics are just kind of lyrics. I mean, they can pass as lyrics, but they're forgettable lyrics nonetheless. I don't really remember much from listening to this. I mean, I remember him saying the number 75 in the end of the chorus, but I don't really remember much of anything else, which is kind of a bad sign when you start off your debut album with a song that only has one rememberable line, and that being a number. So, it's lazy, forgettable. I mean, if you asked me to name a song off this album, it definitely would not be this one. There actually are some good songs on this album, which we'll get to, that is memorable and the only reason that I even remember this album. But let's move on to the next one, because I can tell you a lot of the songs are better than this one. Up next, we have the title track from this album, The Road, which I can tell you is a million times better than 75. It has this really fun, upbeat, like, country twang beat going on, and it's really fun. Like, I definitely wasn't bored this time around. I mean, listening to 75, I was bored as hell listening to it, and I just kept on looking at the time, like, when's this song gonna be over? And to be fair, like, it's a bad sign when you have me looking at the time, because 75 is only like a 3-4 minute song. It's an average song. Like, it's average time for a song. That's usually how long a song is. But when you have me looking at my phone, checking how much time is left in the song, that's a bad sign. I should not be sitting there going, when is this 4-minute track gonna be over? I mean, when I listen to music, I usually go, the song's over already? And then I want to play it again because I feel like the song went by too fast. With 75, it's the complete opposite. It is a bad sign. Just here's something to know about me, and probably any music fan to take note of. If we're asking when's the song going to be over, that's a bad sign. This one, however, I felt like was over too quickly. It sounds like we have Aaron Lewis, singing about a truck in this song, which is a common trope for country music. And yeah, it's a little overdone at this point, but it's fun. Like, I get that the whole singing about trucks and being on the road with diesel fuel is a little bit of a, like, beaten into the ground already. But Aaron Lewis makes it fun. He makes it work and listenable, and I enjoy it. There's far worse songs about trucks out there. So, I'm going to say this is a good song. Alexa, stop. That is my favorite part of this next song, Endless Summer. Oh man, I just love that little guitar intro. It's this little soft twang, but such a fun riff. I love it. That, like, the first time I clicked on this song and heard that, I was like, this is going to be a good song. I just knew it was going to be a good song from hearing that. And damn, is it a good song after all. My instincts did not get me wrong. My instincts steered me right. I was, this was a good song. It's Aaron singing about summertime. Just singing about The joys of summer. I do think it's very funny that this record was released in November, but he's singing about summer on a November album. I think that's very funny. I remember looking at the release date for this, and then listening to this song, and being like, wait, so people who bought this album put this on and heard a song about summer in fall. That's great. So I just thought that was a little funny. A little funny little part there. But, it is also kind of nice, though, and cheerful, because summer's my favorite holiday, so that might be just why I love this song a little more, just because I love songs about summer, and it's just a nice, cheerful song, It's a fun, cheerful country song that anybody can get down with. This is kind of the kind of song I think you would hear at like a barbecue or like your neighbor's summer party, to be honest. It feels like it's just that summer song, party song kind of mood, kind of vibe going on. And it's fun. An enjoyable song. Nothing wrong with it. There's not much to complain about. In fact, it's probably one of my favorite songs on this record, to be fair. Just singing about summer. How can you go wrong with that, right? I love summertime. And he sings about all different summer activities. I love this. And I love summer. So, one of the best Aaron Lewis songs on this album, hands down. I come back to this one a lot every time I put on this album, either on streaming or if I put on the CD. I just instantly look forward to this song. So, I'm very thankful for this song. I listen to it a lot. I even put this on during the summertime a lot. I just wish that the pool parties I had been to had put on this song when it was out. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Hopefully the next one is just as strong. This next song really cements what I love and appreciate about the genre that is country music, and that is the storytelling aspect, because this next song, Red, White, and Blue, is like him telling us about his family and all the struggles that his family went through, like how his grandfather and grandmother had factory jobs and his dad being poor and rubbing nickels together. This song tells a great story about family histories, and I really have a huge appreciation for it, but that might also be because of all the stories that I've been told about hard times from elderly neighbors I used to have. Here's a little quick story. There used to be these two people that lived next door to me named Betty and Lenny who would always tell stories, specifically Lenny. Lenny would always tell stories about things like the Great Depression when he was growing up in the 30s, because he was born in the 1920s, so he has a lot of knowledge to share. So he would tell me about the Great Depression growing up in the 30s, or he would tell me about his World War II days because he was a World War II veteran. So he would tell me about his days in the military, in the army and whatnot, fighting for our country. And he would have quite a lot of stories, or he would tell me about the times when we were going through the big race issue in the 1960s, So he just always had a lot of stories, even recent stories now. He can tell me anything. He's in an assistant living facility now, but he's still alive, and I actually visited him a few weeks ago, and he told me a few stories. So I really appreciate that, and it makes me appreciate this song a lot more, and probably why I appreciate country music more than I used to. I would have to say it's because of Lenny that I appreciate country music as much as I do. He has so many stories that I probably should just get him on the podcast one day to just tell some stories. That'd actually be a pretty fun podcast to have Lenny come on and tell some stories. But, that was probably why I appreciate country music. He was an awesome guy. He's 97 years old now. Can you guys believe that? He's 97, but still kicking. I actually want to go visit him again soon. I love that guy. He was great. I appreciate him. I don't know if he's listening. I doubt he's listening to this because, I don't think he has Spotify. He is an assistant living, but he does have a computer, so how do I know? Maybe he might be on Spotify. If you're listening to this, Lenny, I appreciate you, man. You're great. You're the reason that I really appreciate this song here. But yeah, this is a great Aaron Lewis song. But not only that, But Red, White, and Blue also shows Aaron Lewis's capabilities as a musician, because Aaron is very capable. When Aaron shines, it's him doing this like acoustic instrumentation with him dragging life experiences, because you can tell that he like brings his life experiences or things that he's been told in life, and he brings it into his songs, and it feels very personal and connective, and it feels like Aaron's talking to you. And Aaron Lewis does that a lot. And a lot of people don't like Aaron Lewis because they say that he's, you know, he's a country singer that promotes like old-fashioned values, like he does in Am I the Only One? They say, which was on his Frayed at Both Ends album, which we'll probably review that album one day. But, you know, people say, he cements old-fashioned values and stuff. But, you know, I don't really listen to music I don't think that Aaron, Aaron, even if he does promote like these old-fashioned values, I'm here for the music. And sometimes the lyrics are kind of interesting, so I don't really let the singer's personal views get in my way of enjoying the music. And if he does do songs about old-fashioned values, I don't always like it, but I do sometimes like it, not because I believe in old-fashioned values, but because I think that just the lyrics and the instrumentation blend well, and that's what I look for in music. I look for how the instrumentation with the lyrics blend together, and that's what I appreciate about music, not what the musician might think in their writing, unless I think that what they're writing is really good. Because I do think in this song he's writing something really good and is a message that should be paid attention to, but that's because I say music is suggestive, and everyone's opinion on music and what a musician should do in their image is different from person to person. I mean, we got people like Gene Simmons saying rock is dead, and everyone kind of calling him out on it, saying that's not true, and that it's, you know, radio playing rap music that's ruined rock music. So that's what I mean. Opinion of music is subjective. Gene Simmons thinks rock is dead. I think it isn't, you know. And everyone has a different opinion of what kills a specific music genre. Gene Simmons says it's the fans of music that killed rock. Other people say it's radios playing, you know, rap too much. You know, so honestly, music is a subjective thing, and my opinion is that what Aaron's doing isn't that bad and is enjoyable music. But because I was also a huge fan of Stained, which I could definitely get into the fact that Aaron Lewis, even before his country music career, was always, you know, kind of showing us his storytelling format. His music always had like country music vibes, especially Stained's more acoustic songs really had this like country vibe. But I love it that way. That's why I love Stained. I mean, Aaron Lewis actually grew up playing like little acoustic sets when he was younger before he joined Stained. So his country music career is definitely him going back to his roots, playing these little acoustic songs that have this storytelling vibe. So that might be why I just love Aaron Lewis's music, and also because I have gone to a few like bars and restaurants where they have someone come in and do an acoustic set, and I've always enjoyed that kind of thing, which might be why I enjoy Aaron Lewis and some people don't, is because not everyone enjoys that sort of thing. But, you know, that's definitely my opinion on this song. So, well, sorry, I probably talked about this song for way too long, but I had a lot to say, so let's move on to the next one. So, Lesson Learned had a lot of lyrical themes going around, but I perceive it as a song about needing to slow down and take every day as it is and just kind of live life day by day and not worry too much, and even like reflecting on our past and our mistakes and being better people, and just, you know, appreciating what we do have, because someone else's life may be far worse than ours. So for that, I really respect and appreciate the message of this song. Now, this song I wasn't really too into, not because I don't like the message, but just because I just felt like the beat and like the lyrics weren't always for me. but I definitely do appreciate and respect the message that this song is trying to put across, and I do take it to heart. I mean, you don't have to like a song to take it to heart, and that's definitely what I do here. I definitely take this song to heart. I know that there are people less fortunate than I am, and that I'm lucky what I do have to have what I have, and that is why I always try to understand that, there is someone less fortunate than I am, and that I need to love and embrace everybody around me with the most enthusiasm, because you never know what they're going through. Even my buddy Ken texted me like a week ago telling me he reminds me to always be good to people, because you never know what someone's going through, and being nice to them could make them happy. And I think he's even listening to this podcast, so hi Ken, and thank you so much for your text. I got your text last week, by the way. I'm gonna miss you at transition, but I nearly cried reading your message, and from one friend to another, I love you, man. That was beautiful, very sweet of you, and thank you. I'm very happy to have known you in the last year, seeing you in class every day, and I hope to see you again soon. I hope things are going well. Sorry, guys, I went on a little bit of a tangent, but I just needed my friend to know that, I appreciate him. And I hope to talk to you soon, man. Like you said, hopefully sometime in the fall we'll have a nice catch-up conversation. Hopefully a long one. Not a short one, I hope. But, that's my thoughts on this song. And let's move on to the next one. Honestly, this next song, called Forever, really had me confused of what it was about, to be honest. It starts out with you thinking that it's a love song, which is what I thought, because the lyrics are another time to say I love you, another time to say goodnight, and in the beginning of the chorus, it's like, why do we fight? But then it gets into these lyrics of like, the spark is gone, I can see it in your eyes, and I start to think like, is it a song about like a breakup, and like Aaron singing Don't Say Forever? So I think, is the girl maybe thinking they're going to be together forever, and Aaron doesn't think so? Like, I'm very confused of what this song's about, and because I'm confused about the message and what he's saying, it was kind of hard to listen to the song. It was just kind of hard to follow, because when a song tells a story, I like to follow said story, but I don't know how to follow. I don't get it. I mean, I do like it. Like in the second verse, he says like, another chance to miss a birthday, and like how he probably missed some things in the relationship and I'm like, have you missed some things that you think you should have attended? Like, do you have regrets about doing bad things in your relationship? Do you want to fix the relationship? But then when he says, don't say forever, it's like, do you want to fix the relationship or end it? I'm very confused, Aaron. I mean, I might Google what this song means, but I currently don't know. And that's why I like listening to the song, because I really like slow acoustics, and this is like a slow acoustic song, so I like the beat to this. But the lyrics have me very confused and distracted, and I just don't know how to get through this. I'm actually going to look up real quick what this song means, because I don't know. I'll be right back. So I just got back from the song facts page for this episode, and Aaron recites that this song just came out of him, like he threw it up, and then he went to his room and cried like a little bitch after he was done recording it at soundcheck, which I thought was pretty funny. His descriptions for how this song came about were just really funny. You should read it for yourself, but that's what I could recite. But he says that this song is about self-doubting relationships, which now that I read that makes a lot more sense. I can definitely understand the meaning a lot more. So Thanks for Google and the thing that is Sound Facts. I love that website. Song makes a lot more sense now, and I actually appreciate it a lot more now that I understand it. So, self-doubting relationships, I definitely get it. I have self-doubted relationships in my life before. I mean, little mini story. This is starting to become a personal episode. I've talked about Lenny and Ken in this episode. But time to talk about another one. So, I was in a relationship with a girl named Emma once, and I was very happy in the beginning of the relationship before I started to doubt the damn thing, because she would often yell at me for wanting to do things like go out with my friends or even like go out like away from her, because like she would always want me to be beside her 24/7. Like I remember one time I wanted to go out to a concert with my buddy Frank once. We were going to go see a local band, and she's like, "You didn't ask my permission to go out tonight." And I was like, "Girl, calm down. I just want to go out with my friend. Like, jeez." And she's like, "You didn't ask my permission." And she like yells at me and calls me stupid. She's like, "Are you fucking stupid? You didn't ask me." And my friend Frank's like, "That's abusive. She shouldn't be calling you fucking stupid, dude." And I was like, that's just how she is. And like at first I didn't realize it, because when someone's being abused in a relationship, you know, they don't see it at first. They're clouded by love, right? Because I loved her. And then it wasn't until I went to my other friend's house. I had a friend named Zach, right? And I went to his place for dinner. And for context, his sister Alex had come in from like a friend's house or something. She'd come back from a trip. I'm not going to say their last names because I don't want to give out their information, so I'm only using first names. But she came in from somewhere, and my girlfriend was like, "Is that a girl? How dare you talk to another girl?" And I'm like, I'm at their home. I should at least be polite and speak to her. I'm a guest in her home. I shall at least address her, right? And that was my defense. I said I should at least be polite and address this girl because she spoke to me. I should address someone if I've been spoken to. And of course, she didn't see it that way, and she yelled at me. And she almost wanted to yell at my poor friend's sister. I was like... She got even more angry when she found out that we were the same age, because I was the same age as this girl, right? And she's like, "What if she likes you?" And I'm like... She's in a committed relationship, for your information. She has a boyfriend, so there's no way. And sorry about the noise, my dog is walking by. But I'm like, she's in a committed relationship. There's no way that she would be into me, and if she was, we would both have to be single. And until we're both single, there is no discussion of us being anything but friends. And so... She yells at me. I go into the garage to take this conversation, and my friend's mom... Hang on, I'm going to let the dog out. My friend's mom finds me, and she gives me a one-on-one chat, and she's like, "Look, I know you're blindsided by love, but this is a very serious issue. You can't be yelled... You shouldn't take being yelled at by this woman. There are much better women out there. And this is not okay, and I just want to see you happy. I can see that you're stressed out. I can see this is not healthy for you. I can see how much this bothers you." And I was very stubborn. I'm a very stubborn person. So I was like, "Nah, that's just how she is." And his mom's like, and my friend's mom is like, "Yes, that is how she is, but how she is not right, and she needs help. And you probably need help from therapy, from how you've been treated in your relationship, because you think this is normal, and you thinking that it's normal is not normal." And I finally woke the fuck up, and I broke up with her like the next day, because I realized that how I was being treated was not how I should be treated in a relationship. And I still thank my friend's mom to this day for helping me realize that I might still be in that relationship. I really don't know, man. I don't know, mate, but... Thanks to my friend, thanks to my friend's mom, thanks to my friend's sister, they all kind of helped me realize this. And, you know, again, please don't ask about the identities of these people. Please do not ask for their middle or last names or locations. Please do not ask because I will not share. Anyways, let's move on to the next track. That's just a little story about me self-doubting my relationship. This next song, Granddaddy's Gone, is my personal favorite because of a little story I'm going to tell you in a minute. But the lyrics go something along the lines of, I can still hear his voice when I put it up to my shoulder. And with that, I want to tell you this story. So, my grandfather, I should say step-grandfather, since it was my grandfather's boyfriend after my grandparents divorced. Ron was my step-grandfather, and I was very close to him. We were very close. He would come over to my home where me and my parents lived, and he would help me make sandwiches. His personal favorite sandwich was peanut butter and jelly, so we would make those together when I was a kid, or we would make shells and cheese on the stove. He's actually the reason that I love shells and cheese and prefer that over Kraft mac and cheese. It's definitely probably for memory reasons and the nostalgia of missing him. We would go to Subway and get sandwiches together almost every week, once in a while, or sometimes. Like, that was definitely our favorite sandwich place. There were times where we would go, like, for sandwiches every Sunday for, like, a year, before we kind of went back to our roots of cooking at the house. And then we would still go again once in a while. Every time he came over, if it wasn't cold, we would go for a walk around the neighborhood since we loved exercising together. He loved our dogs, so he would bring treats and give those to them. Fun fact, he actually was not a big fan of cats. He did not like them, but for some reason, he loved our cat Buzz, though. I don't know why he specifically loved our cat, but he did. He would let our cat sleep between his legs, and he was completely fine with it. But he, completely hated other cats, according to my dad, who said he hated cats. I don't know how true that is, because he loved our cat, but I guess I'll take my dad's word for it. But that's why this song, personally, I connect with, because I know what it's like to miss a grandparent, and that's what I think this song's about, just missing a grandparent who you loved so much, that meant so much to you. He, every time he would come over when I was a little kid, he would just shout, "Buddy!" when we opened the front door, and he'd call me Buddy. You know, when I was a little kid, there were just so many fun stories. I used to sit on his lap when I was 4 or 5, and we would play a game called Yikes, so that was fun, where he would tickle me and try to push me off of him, so that was fun, the game Yikes. I remember us watching movies together, like SpongeBob when I was a kid. Even though he was a 70-year-old man, he would just always take to my interests. He was such a great grandparent. I remember one time, this was fun. I remember one time where I stayed at their house. It was Ron and my grandmother's condo, back when my grandma was alive as well. And my grandmother had made these mint chocolate chip cookies. Okay, and at 6 a.m., Ron and I got up and snuck into the kitchen while my grandmother was still asleep and ate cookies for breakfast. So that was fun. Ron would always try to make experiences for me just super fun. He was always the fun grandfather. I think everybody always had the fun grandparent in their family. And for me, he was the fun grandparent. I miss him so much. He unfortunately died of a heart attack in 2016 or so, in April. I miss that man. I know I went to his condo because he was given or inherited the condo after my grandma died when I was 9 or 10. And he lived there for quite a few years. And when he died, my family and I went to clean it out, and there was just looking at his furniture and looking at his desk and the papers in his desk and just looking and going through all his stuff as a teenager, it just made me cry so much. I remember I actually burst into tears the second we stepped into his condo. It just made me so sad to go in there, but him not be there, because all I had known was him living there. So I remember just crying so much, and I almost feel like crying now, because I miss him and loved him. I missed him. He was actually, from what I know, according to my mother, he was an alcoholic when my mom was a kid because they started dating apparently when my mom was in junior high, but when I was a kid, he had sobered up and cleaned up, and that's why it hurts me that my mom would sometimes tell me things like, oh, after Grandma died, I could have just not let you see him or something. And I'm like, what, so you were jealous of my friendship with him? And that's what it sounds like. I mean, because she seemed to be quite mad that I missed him. Because every time I would say I miss him, she would get quite angry. And I'm like, look, just because you had a bad childhood with him doesn't mean I need to and should. He was a good person. He had sobered up, gone to rehab. Of course I'm going to have a different experience with him. He got better. I think that me having a better experience is okay. It's not her fault or my fault. It's no one's fault. He wanted to clean up for his grandkids. If anything, that's admirable for you to want to be a good person for your grandkids. I think is an admirable thing. And, you know, I miss the guy. I still miss him to this day. And Aaron Lewis, his lyric, I Still Hear His Voice, is probably the most memorable to me. And this is the most memorable song on the album. I really connect to the lyric, I Still Hear His Voice, because sometimes I do hear Ron's voice. I remember one time on vacation in Tennessee, I had stepped into a restaurant. I think this was on my birthday. And I remember I heard in my head, I heard the words, happy birthday, buddy, in my head, which is what he used to call me. And it sounded like Ron's voice. And I even saw, for like, no joke, for like 2 seconds, I saw someone that looked just like him, which made me so happy. And my mom was like, what are you smiling about? Like, I had this beaming smile, and I was like, I saw Ron. And she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, I saw him. And, you know, sometimes I still occasionally see him. I don't know if it's my imagination or if I'm just experiencing the paranormal, but who knows? It makes me happy and cheerful to see him and hear him once in a while. Puts a big smile on my face, man. You know, I miss the guy. He was so good to me as a kid. Taught me so much. He's actually the reason I got into the Beatles and music, because he actually is the one who showed me the Beatles. He's the one who taught me how to memorize them. He told me to say Paul McCartney, John Lennon, George Harrison, Ringo Starr. I think he said it in that order, I think. Or it was Paul, George, John, Ringo. I forget what order it was, but the point is he taught me how to memorize all 4 Beatles. And he taught me just some random facts that I still remember. Like, One Direction had... man, let me let the dog in. But One Direction had filmed their Take Me Home album cover in front of this thing in England, and he had taught me about the building in England. So, I think it was an important building, actually. But he had taught me about it, so I love and miss Ron. And this was a great song. And now our puppy's barking. So let's pause the recording and move on to the next song. State Line was another one that had me kind of bored. I mean, it had the twang instrumental that most of the songs on this album had that were pretty cool, but that's really all that I liked about it. Is I thought the instrumental was kind of cool, but the lyrics were kind of boring, kind of like 75. I just wasn't too into it. I listened to it and just went, it's okay. I've heard better songs in this album, like Granddaddy's Gone and The Road and Endless Summer. This one was just kind of more, I mean, if the song is on a playlist or something, I could listen to it, but I wouldn't listen to it by choice. It's just, alright, I could take it or leave it. Let's just move on to the next one, because I don't really have much to say here like the other songs. Anywhere But Here is one of those songs where I really like the chorus and think it's really catchy and fun to listen to, and I also think that the acoustic vibe is really good and really fun, but the verses are just kind of okay. They're meh. Again, this is one of those songs that I could take it or leave it, really. I don't love it, but I don't despise it either. I don't think it's terrible. I don't hate it. I'm just like, I could care less if it's on or off the album, really. I could care less. Except for the chorus. I do enjoy the chorus, which is one of the reasons that I say, like, if this song is on a playlist or, on the radio or, whatever, I'll listen to it. Because, again, it's good, I guess. It's fine. And I listened to it, because, I have, like I said, I have a CD copy of this, which I might do a CD collection video on the YouTube channel version of this, which, by the way, there is a YouTube channel version of this. It's called Corruption of Colton, for those people who listen to this on streaming services. I was going to say people who live on streaming services, but that doesn't make sense. Why would you live on Spotify? What is it a new road? There's just something like, someone lives on Spotify Street. You live on Apple Podcast Street. You live on Google Podcast Street or whatever. Man, that'd be really random for someone to tell me. That'd be really random for you to tell me, to be honest. But, and I probably wouldn't believe you and would just go, what? But, that's really all I have to say here. Enough rambling. There's only one more track left, which, by the way, I lied to you guys, I guess. I said there were 13 tracks, but I miscounted. I mislooked. I thought there were 13, but I looked incorrectly. So I guess I lied to you. One more song to go. The Angels Won't Take Me. I've talked to St. Peter. Let's have a party. The devil will deal the cards. The Party in Hell. These are just a few of the lyrics in this song called Party in Hell, which, what a way to end your album. It's quite a country song, I must say, and I don't even know what to make of it. I don't even know what it's about, to be fair, but it's fun. Like, these lyrics definitely sound like something that could even be a metal song, to be honest. I could totally see this song having a metal cover. So, I like it, I dig it. I think the lyrics are quite dark and interesting, but I'm guessing it's not as dark as I think it is. I'm guessing that these lyrics are a metaphor, and I'm just looking too far into this. At least that's my guess. But I like it. Party in Hell is quite a way to end your album, and a country album at that, but I dig it. I like it, so I give this song 4 out of 5, that's for sure. A very enthusiastic 4 out of 5 at that, too. I really like it, and I like the slow instrumentation it has, so I'm gonna give this song the most enthusiasm I can, and I'm just gonna tell you how I feel about this album in general. So let's get to the closing statements. The Road, Endless Summer, Red, White, and Blue, Granddaddy's Gone, and Party in Hell are some of my favorite songs off this album. Granddaddy's Gone being my number 1 favorite. I'm going to put Endless Summer at number 2. Red, White, and Blue at number 3. Sorry, I stuttered there for a second. I'm an idiot. And at number 4, Party in Hell. I think that these are my top 4 favorite, and I'm going to put 75 at the very bottom for being a very lame, boring, and lazy song. But I will say the good songs overpower the bad ones and really make this album shine, because when this album's at its best, it's really at its best, but when this album's at its worst, it's not really at its worst. I would say it's more at its laziest, so I wouldn't say some of the songs are really that bad. They're just lazy, so I'd say when this album's at its best, it's at its best, but when it's at its laziest, fuck is it at its laziest, man. So this album is an okay one. It's an in-between one. It's good, but it's lazy. So I'm going to give this album a 3 out of 5. More of a 3.5, though, because I do have some enthusiasm about this album. So when I'm enthusiastic about it, I really am that it's enthusiastic, because, I really have told some pretty good stories this episode, and I think that the fact that I can connect to this album on a personal level at sometimes does make it better than I think at first. So I'm going to say 3.5. Not just a 3, but a 3.5. Almost a 4. It's just the song 75 kind of stops it from being a 4. From just how lazy it is, really. But so 3.5, man. Good album. An okay one, I'm gonna say. Good/okay. And I like it for the most part. There's just some stuff that sets it back, right? So, would I recommend this album to some people? I would say I would recommend a few songs. I wouldn't recommend the whole album as a whole. I would just kind of say check out these select few songs. Especially, I would say check out Granddaddy's Gone for sure for anybody who misses a relative. Definitely check that one out. You'll definitely connect with it in some way and vibe. Definitely, if you really like storytelling, then definitely check out Red, White, and Blue. So, definitely check out a few songs. Leave a few alone. If you like partying and summer vibes and stuff, and you want to throw a good party, definitely check out Endless Summer. And I would say, for the best advice that I can give you, play Endless Summer at your summer barbecues and your summer parties. All of your guests will probably love it and vibe with it. And those are my thoughts on The Road. If you have any comments about this album, definitely drop them down. For anybody listening to this on YouTube or whatever, for anybody on Spotify, give this an upvote. Rate the show and leave an opinion, because you can do that on Spotify with podcasts now. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next Corruption of Colton podcast episode.